Hi, I'm Chris Wilson. So I have an unnatural obsession with action RPGs. You know how the story goes. You start out playing Diablo 2 a healthy amount, and then an unhealthy amount, and before you know it, you're running your own action RPG with millions of players. I recently realized, while grinding on my classic D2 1.05 Barbarian, that I probably need to get out there and try other types of games. Action RPGs are a fun niche, but I needed to branch out to try something mass market. I decided to play the most popular game in the world, Minecraft. There's no way that this pixelated kids game with cute characters, a Jack Black movie, and a trillion views on YouTube is actually a hardcore action RPG in disguise, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to explain how it actually is. For a start, there's a surprising amount of RPG in there. When I first dabbled with the game back in 2011 or so, it was pretty simple. You build bases out of blocks. But nowadays, there's experience, there's levels, there's items, there's enchantments, there's endgame bosses. The game's even got builds. You can play a glass cannon sharpness 5 netherite axe berserker with strength potions, a swordsman with sweeping 3 mods, weakness potions for crowd control. You can play a power of 5 infinity sniper with feather falling for mobility, potentially a caster-like build with a channeling trident that calls lightning onto enemies during thunderstorms. Like, watching multiplayer parties, they honestly feel like RPG parties. There's someone with a bow, there's someone with a sword, someone with firework rockets and a crossbow, killing monsters, working on quests. But Minecraft isn't just a regular RPG. I believe it fully qualifies to be an actual action RPG. So, while developing Path of Exile, we identified various critical aspects of what makes an action RPG an action RPG. Let's go through them. So, first up, we've got action combat. Before Diablo, most RPGs were turn-based, and the big innovation they had in Diablo 1 was adding real-time combat to the game, and that's where action RPGs came from. It's where your actual meaningful moment-to-moment actions have an effect on combat beyond the stats that the characters have. So Minecraft is all real-time. It's an action game. You have multiple different types and ranges of weapons. You have blocking. Your position matters. You can slide down a waterfall to get away from enemies. Everything you do moment to moment helps improve your essential damage output in combat. The next important aspect of action RPGs is randomly generated items. Action RPGs are incredibly fun because the random item systems keep you coming back to try to find or craft the perfect item. Whether it's some really hard to get unique you're looking for or a really well rolled rare, there is always something that you're just on the cusp of getting, and if you play just a little bit more, you'll have a chance of getting that. When we were developing Path of Exile, we put a lot of effort into making sure that mod rolling felt really good, that you get a lot of near misses where you're very close to getting exactly what you want, and the item's almost good enough, but you want to try to find another copy of it. And honestly, I'm seeing the same kind of thing in Minecraft. Progression in Minecraft is also very item centric. As you gradually go through the tiers of different types of materials that your weapons and equipment are made of, it unlocks either direct access to resources. For example, you need a diamond pickaxe to mine certain types of ore, or direct access to content. There's certain types of enemies and encounters that are just too difficult to do unless you've actually got good items. In addition to the tiers of base item types, they've got item enchantments, basically mods from a Diablo or Path of Exile-like game. These are randomly rolled. There's different tiers of them. Certain ones exclude other ones. You can't have a perfect item with every single mod in it. You have to make choices. For example, are you having a mending bow or an infinity bow? Those are mutually exclusive. There's even crafting of other stuff like potions and arrows to augment what your character is doing beyond the actual equipment that they're wearing. In addition, monsters can randomly drop enchanted items. You might be fighting a armored opponent, and then it drops an item with enchantments on it. Very much like killing a monster in an action RPG and finding something with mods. In addition, chests throughout the game are very rewarding. There are so many different biomes and specific encounters that have chests in them with honestly much better items than you can probably make by that point. And so there's a lot of excitement of exploring new areas, killing monsters in order to loot the chests and get stuff that's setting you ahead in terms of progression. And of course, action RPGs often have extensive fishing systems, and Minecraft is no exception. I find it interesting that at 42 years of age, I'm sitting there memorizing how if you fish during a thunderstorm in Minecraft, it will give a 20% faster fishing chance, and how I want to get Lure 3 and Luck of the Sea on my fishing rod, and caring so much about these very minute details of a fishing system in the game entirely to maximize the amount of enchanted books that I'm getting so I can roll my gear better so I can finally get through to the end and kill the Ender Dragon. So next up, randomly generated areas. Now, this is a really important thing with action RPGs because these are games that are designed for you to play many times through. And if it's exactly the same static world every time, it soon gets repetitive. I'm not using the word boring there because the game, of course, can be interesting, but the human brain will notice the fact it's doing something that it's done before. And so by having subtle variation or even large variation in the areas you're playing through, it makes it feel novel. And that's very important when you expect players to grind through areas many, many times. Now, Minecraft is a masterclass in randomly generated areas. It's taken it to the extreme. The world generation they have in that game is absolutely ridiculous. The world contains soaring cliffs, giant oceans, underground cave networks, mine shafts, various types of dungeons. Everything is interconnected together in a completely plausible way, and you can explore in any direction to encounter an essentially infinite amount of the stuff. It's basically on-demand content, and you never know what you're going to get. Now, of course, this is a completely different model to an act-based action RPG where you're playing through a storyline. In this case, you're making your own story, but it's just as valid. You are getting a constant sense of novelty and excitement about what's just around the corner. And when combined with systems like the ability to level up, to improve your items and so on, you get a very similar experience to playing an action RPG. In addition, a lot of games with a campaign act structure receive criticism that on the 100th playthrough, the campaign is a bit boring because the players played it so many times. And Minecraft just completely solves that problem by having such a random procedural world. Now, personally, I really like campaign-driven action RPGs. I enjoy playing through a story that someone else has crafted for me and experiencing the twists and turns along the way, but I do believe the industry can learn a lot from what Minecraft has done with terrain generation here. So a really important part of the gameplay loop of action RPGs is the town cycle. You go out, you kill monsters, you find items until you're full or need to upgrade, and then you return to town to do busy work. And so that means basically vendoring your stuff, stashing some of it, maybe doing a few upgrades, maybe cashing in some quests to get some skill books. In Minecraft, you basically have the same cycle. You go out, you mine resources, you kill monsters, you find items, you find chests, and you gradually get full. And at the point that you're full, you've got to go back to your town, which is a base that you have built to stash resources, restock, and even craft items. The only difference is that you've got to choose where the town is and how it's laid out. Now, you can even get NPCs to trade with in the form of villagers. Advanced players will basically co-opt a village into their town so that they get the ability to do specific types of trades that benefit their item progression. In fact, the limited inventory size in Minecraft, where you just get your 36 slots plus your hotbar, means that as you're going to mine resources or kill monsters in the world, you do fill up with stuff relatively quickly and have to come back to town. The cycle there, especially when combined with the day-night cycle in the game, which dynamically changes the challenge, is very reminiscent of playing an action RPG, where you have pressure to go back to town periodically, and that gives you kind of some pacing through your game session where you get a chance to breathe and plan what you're going to do next. So the next very important topic to discuss for successful action RPGs is secure online multiplayer. Games like Diablo 2 onwards, Path of Exile, Path of Exile 2 use server-authoritative multiplayer. And so that's where there's a central server that validates commands that the clients are sending in. Instead of just taking it for granted, they will check to make sure that each game client is able to do that action, that they actually have the item they're referring to, that they can get to the location they're asking to walk to. And this model is as opposed to a single player or peer-to-peer or non-authoritative model where basically each of the clients is trusted, and if they send invalid input or try to cheat, then sure, that happened. And so with the server-authoritative model, it means that players have a degree of trust in the items that other players have. They know that those were earned legitimately. They know that someone's progress is real, and it creates a real sense of progression that you're playing in a world where things actually have difficulty in achieving them. Now, Minecraft doesn't have a set of central servers. It has community ones that are architected as separate realms that you can play on. You can spin up your own multiplayer server to play on with your friends, or you can play on a new community server as it opens up. And this has a couple of advantages. The first advantage, of course, is that any of these servers can run whichever mods it wants to, and so it's possible for people to play custom game modes and secure multiplayer, which is nice. But it also has that fresh league feeling. You know, when a Path of Exile expansion comes out and you rush in there to try to get to the top of the ladder and find the best items before everyone else? It's the same feeling with these Minecraft servers, where you want to get in there on day one and try to make as much progress as you can and find better items than the other people that are playing. It's basically the ladder rush feeling. Note that the fact that it's architected as server authoritative doesn't mean that there are no exploits and no cheating. This is dependent on whether there are any bugs in the game or the mod that's being played in Minecraft, and sometimes dupe methods crop up. But honestly, isn't that kind of part of the action RPG experience these days? So we've established that Minecraft ticks all the boxes to be an action RPG game, but it's actually a pretty hardcore one. So let's look at Path of Exile for a second. This is a game that, while it has simple controls, you can click to move, click to attack monsters, click to move items around, honestly has a massive knowledge requirement in order to really, really excel at the end game. There are so many things you need to learn to play, and that's incredibly appealing to hardcore players. Minecraft is honestly the same kind of thing. It's a game all about mastery knowledge. While it's easy to move around and control it, basically, there is so much advanced knowledge you have to learn in order to really master the game. So many wiki pages and tables you've got to go through and complicated interactions, and so it can really appeal to very hardcore players in the same way as a game like Path of Exile. The game also literally has a hardcore mode. Introduced in Diablo 2, hardcore basically means that when your character dies, it's scrubbed off the face of the earth and you do not get the ability to play it anymore. And that adds a lot of adrenaline because suddenly every decision has consequences, every Twitch reaction matters. And Minecraft has exactly that mode, even with the same name. In fact, in regular Minecraft survival mode, you drop items on death. If you're standing next to some lava, those items are destroyed. This is more hardcore than even Path of Exile is in its regular game mode. In Minecraft, if you're exploring your base and having a good time, creepers can randomly come in and blow it up. It can be set on fire. It can burn down. This is more punishing than most other action RPGs are in terms of their default game mode, because progress is not typically taken away from players unless they've opted into it. So in conclusion, it turns out that regardless of where I go, everything in my life is going to look like Diablo 2 or Path of Exile if I stare at it hard enough. And that's not a bad situation to be in. While researching this, I was reminded that there's actually a standalone Minecraft ARPG called Minecraft Dungeons. I should probably try it out. Maybe it's good. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.